The Tent Embassy by Deanne Swirsky and Octavia Cooper. This PowerPoint includes names and images of deceased people and events that may cause sadness or distress to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and pay respects to the elders both past, present and future, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture and the hopes of Aboriginal Australia. We must always remember that under the concrete and asphalt, this land is, was and always will be traditional Aboriginal land. Protocols for welcoming visitors to country have been a part of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture for thousands of years. Crossing into another Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander group's country requires a request for permission to enter. Once permission was granted, the hosting group would welcome the visitors, offering them safe passage and protection of their spiritual being during the journey. Today, a welcome to country occurs at the beginning of a formal event and can take many forms, including singing, dancing, or a speech in traditional language or English. A welcome to country is delivered by traditional owners. An acknowledgement of country is an opportunity for anyone to show respect for traditional owners and the continuing connection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to country. On the 25th of January 1972, the McMahon government announced a new system that instead of granting Aboriginal people title to their land, his government would ask Aboriginal people to apply for a new 50-year general purpose lease over such land, as well as proving that they would put the land to reasonable economic and social use. This caused many protest groups to spring into action. On the 26th of January in 1972, Michael Anderson, Billy Craigie, Bertie Williams and Tony Corey erected a beach umbrella on the grounds opposite Parliament House in Canberra and put up a sign which read Aboriginal Embassy as a protest against the McMahon government's approach to Indigenous land rights. Over the following months, supporters of the embassy swelled to 2,000 people. The police violently dismantled the tents as television crews captured the event for evening news. The outraged public expressed its disgust to the federal government. "11 days after setting up the embassy, Michael Anderson, Billy Craigie, Bertie Williams and Tony Corey issued a list of demands to the Australian government. These demands included complete rights to the Northern Territory as a state within Australia and the installation of a primarily Aboriginal state parliament, ownership and mining rights of all other Aboriginal reserve lands in Australia, the preservation of all sacred sites in Australia, ownership of areas in major cities, including mining rights, compensation for lands that were not able to be returned, starting with $6 billion and including a percentage of the gross national income every year. Opposition leader Gough Whitlam listened to their demands and agreed to a discussion about the 5-point plan, which was seen by activists as a great success in gaining recognition for their cause and having their ideas heard by those in position of power. While the Tent Embassy in Canberra was Australia's first, there have been many others set up since in protest and to support Aboriginal self-determination. There are now embassies across Queensland, New South Wales, Western Australia, South Australia, and Victoria. Cultural awareness is essential to effective participation and acceptance in a globally independent world. In order to be culturally aware, materials can be drawn from a range of different cultures and ethnic backgrounds, promote multiculturalism, and actively nurture students to develop the skills and knowledge to operate effectively in the global workplace environment. Questions to take into consideration when teaching about the Tent Embassy include, are there any Aboriginal students from other regions of Australia? Or are there any local Aboriginal people who can be involved? To work effectively in culturally diverse environments, the following points should be considered. Terminology is very important. There are some terms used by and in the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community that are inappropriate for non-Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to use. Using the correct terminology when referring to the lives, culture, and history of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people show respect and acknowledgement of their rights and expectations. Work to eliminate bias, prejudice, and discriminatory discussion. Assist students to become aware of their own cultural values and facilitate discoveries of ways students can apply this awareness to their own lives and to society at large, as well as within the school community. It is vital to be aware of your own cultural background, experiences, attitudes, values, and biases that may influence your ability to assist students from diverse cultural populations. Educate yourself wherever possible to enhance your understanding and to address the needs of culturally diverse students. There are 4 main pedagogical considerations. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that are in the class. Class members and teachers need to be aware of the terminology used as well as ethnic profiling, as well as not making assumptions regarding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that are not in the class. If intentional or unintentional racism occurs throughout discussion, being prepared and having a plan can assist in easing the situation, such as positive redirection and addressing common misconceptions. Throughout the activity, discussion may lead to other topics. Taking note of the conversations that arise may help as a guide for future lessons. In the yarning circle process, all students are provided with an opportunity to have their say in a safe space without judgment. Each student speaks, one at a time, is heard and not interrupted. This process involves and develops deep listening, sharing of thoughts, and development of higher order thinking skills. A yarning circle was used as a form of communication by the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture. A yarning circle encourages respectful and responsible and honest interactions of participants. Members would gather in a circle to share stories, conduct meetings, and welcome new participants. Inspired by the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders culture, teachers may replicate alternate forms of communication into the classroom. Above is an image that gives a basic understanding of what a yarning circle is and how to replicate into a classroom. The yarning circle serves to increase knowledge, awareness, leadership, acceptance, individuality, choices, participation, identity, inclusion, responsibility, confidence, and respect. A yarning circle nurtures an individual's sense of belonging. Children are actively involved in conversation as they listen, share, and respect ideas. In order for a yarning circle to work, teachers must ensure they follow a series of 5 steps. Step 1. Children are asked to sit in a circle on the floor. As a class group, form a complete circle. Ensure that everyone is seated equally and that everyone can see all participants in the circle. Step 2. Due to age, children are given a rain stick that indicate when it is their turn to talk and when it is their turn to actively listen. Ensure that the students know that they cannot talk without the rain stick and that there cannot be conversation across the circle. Children then pass the stick around the circle as they introduce themselves and answer a beginning question. For example, what is your favourite colour? Step 3. Children are asked a series of open-ended questions that relate to the tent embassy. The questions asked indirectly target elements of the tent embassy designed to provoke thought and develop understanding. Children are given open opportunity to interpret, share, and develop ideas and understandings in a group setting. Use of a talking stick enables a sense of entitlement as they share individual thought in a safe and supportive environment. Step 5. Children are given opportunity to reflect, extend, and address any concern at the end of conversation. The questions included in our yarning circle are: why do you think a welcome to country is important? Why do you think it's important that we are kind and respect our friends? Why do you think it is important to take turns in talking? Why do you think it is important that we don't talk while someone else is talking? Why do you think it's important to listen to other people when they are talking? And why do you think it is important to share? The questions are designed to provoke thought, indirectly target elements of the tent embassy, identify the importance of equality, develop respect and understanding of diversity in and outside of the classroom. Due to age, questions are designed to indirectly target elements of the tent embassy. Cognitive theorist Jean Piaget suggests children in the early years pose an egocentric view of the world. Therefore, questions are designed to relate content to self. Children develop beginning understanding of the tent embassy through personal connection. For example, why do you think it is important that we are kind and respect our friends? The tent embassy outlines the importance of respect and fairness that children demonstrate through action and speech. For example, incorporation of the talking stick enables children to understand the importance of giving another a fair go by actively listening and taking turns. Children are asked questions that demonstrate action and given opportunity to respond. For example, why do you think it is important that we take turns in talking? And why do you think it's important to listen to other people when they are talking? The early years learning framework for Australia links are as follows. Learning outcome 1. Children have a strong sense of identity. Outcome 1.1. Children feel safe, secure, and supported. Outcome 1.4. Children learn to interact in relation to others with care, empathy, and respect. Learning outcome 2. Children are connected with and contribute to their world. Outcome 2.1. Children develop a sense of belonging to groups and communities and an understanding of the reciprocal rights and responsibilities necessary for active community participation. Outcome 2.3. Children become aware of fairness. The Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership standards that link to the chosen activity are as follows. Standard 1.3. Demonstrate knowledge of teaching strategies that are responsive to the learning strengths and needs of students from diverse linguistic, cultural, religious, and socio-economic backgrounds. Standard 1.4. Demonstrate broad knowledge and understanding of the impact of culture, cultural identity, and linguistic background on the education of students from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander backgrounds. Standard 2.2. Organise content into effective learning and teaching sequence. Standard 2.4. Demonstrate broad knowledge of, understanding of, and respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander history, cultures, and languages.